Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mariat, Candace, Nasasira. I'm very, very happy that the numbers are growing and you guys are subscribing, but there's still some stubborn people. I check my settings and see many people are watching, but they're not subscribed. Kindly subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel. So today, I decided to shoot this episode from Classic Diner. It's an amazing restaurant that's on Gaba Road, just next to Galaxy FM. If you live around Buziga, Bunga, Muyenga, Kansanga, Kabalagala, kindly drop by and get you some great meal. They have the most amazing pizzas, sandwiches, burgers, all those. You can find them here. And if you are Eritrean and Ethiopian, this is the place for you. They have all Habeshan dishes. You can literally find all the amazing ones here. So today is a very special edition. I guess that's why I got a different place and a special place to shoot from. I realized I started this channel and assumed that everyone on this channel knows who I am and knows what I do. So I decided to do a get to know me tag on this one, and I posted on Facebook, on my Facebook page, Mariat, Candace, Nasasira, and I asked every one of you to post questions, things you wanted to know about me, and I got quite a number. You guys, you asked me some questions that I'm very embarrassed to talk about, but yeah, I'll start off. There's Christmas M. Khan who said, your education, your first boss and job, and your relationship stuff. Let's start with education. So I didn't study nursery. I did 1 year of pre-primary school, then P1, P2, P3 at a school called Chitunga Boarding Primary School. Then I moved on to Kemshego Boarding Primary School, since it's also in Tungamo district, where I finished my P7. And then I moved to Kinyasano Girls High School. That's where I did my O-level. For high school, A-level, I was at Mariam High School. I studied history, English, literature, and geography. Hell, G. That was my combination. And at university, I studied Bachelor's of Arts with Education, literature, English. I majored in literature. I minored in English. People who do languages know what I mean when I say majored and minored. Then my very first job was when I was in senior 6. I told my mom and my brother, my dad's heir, that I did not want to sit home. I wanted to make myself busy. So I told them I would like to study computer or learn how to drive. They told me make a choice. So I said, okay, computer. So I decided to study computer, and I was studying at an internet cafe when, after 6 months or 4, 5 something of studying there, the boss then, I think it was called John, told me I could stay back and teach computer. So I was hired to teach. So my very first job was actually to teach computer. But of course, when the students were gone, I would help in the internet cafe, give time, photocopy, print, scan, all those things that are done in an internet cafe. So that was my very first job. And John was my very first boss. The owner of the internet cafe, I think, was called Steven. Yeah. Then my relationship stuff, that's something I really want to talk about. I will talk about this when I get married. You know why? Because I don't like claiming people before I'm married to them. It's like, how do I say this? It's like when I feel like dating is like auditioning or like doing interviews for a job. Now, it's until you're married that you're sure now this is the person. So that's the person I would like to share with the world. So it's the same thing as a job. If you're doing the interviews and being auditioned or whatever, you can't say that now I'm working at Galaxy as this when you're just auditioning. No. It is until you have the job that you can say, you know what, I do this and this and this. So I'd like to talk about relationships when I'm married, because that will be it. That will be the one. So that's it about relationships. You guys had many questions. Someone asked, talk about your positivity and what inspires you to stay with a positive attitude towards challenging situations in social life, public figure life. I love you. That's Nantumbwe Sharifa. Thank you very much for that question, Nantumbwe Sharifa. Personally, what keeps me positive? I actually live by this. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I've heard that from when I was a kid. I believe that everything happens because God wills it. He's the Almighty. I have this feeling that whatever I want, whatever you want, means nothing if God doesn't align with it. Like, if something's supposed to happen to me, it will happen if God wants it to happen. I have no way around it. All I can do is pray and worship Him, and that's it. I feel like things in this world happen because God wants them to happen that way. So it is that thing that helps me through the day. When I'm stressed about something, I'm like, that's what God will. Crushing on any celebrity, I crush on Denzel Washington's son. He's called, I think, David Washington. I like that guy. I think he's very cute. How old are you? I was born 22nd October 1987. So do the math. What inspired you to change from teaching to media? That's Eddie Luchamzi Musuza. So Eddie, what inspired me to change from teaching to media? If I'm being real, teaching was never on the books for me. Like, I never wanted to be a teacher. I'm not saying it in a bad way, man. I respect teachers, but it was not my calling. From when I was a child, I knew I wanted to do radio. I knew I wanted to do media. I used to be a good writer, and I used to love listening to radio all the time. But when I finished senior 6, I applied for mass comm, and I did not get. I was only admitted at 2 universities. That's Chambogo University, which gave me Bachelor's of Arts with Education, and then KIU, which gave me law, but I didn't get mass comm. My aunt advised me to do literature English. She told me anything you'll need, all the skills, you will learn them while studying that course. So you can do that course. I was really disappointed not to be admitted. So she told me, don't worry. Most of the people that are doing media didn't even actually study media. So they didn't study mass comm. So just do that course. You're going to be skilled in communication skills. You might even be better than people who did mass comm. And I did that course. So of course I had to do everything, including school practice. And yeah, so really I was doing the course to get skilled to do media. I wasn't doing it to teach. Yeah, that's immediately after my last school practice, I was very sure I was not going to teach. And I went on to follow my dreams, which was media. Thank you very much for that question, Luchamuzi. And Luke Sean says you are a teacher by profession, as you normally tell. So how did you make it to the radio to be one of the best female presenters? So you already know how I left teaching, because I was never really going to teach. But let me tell you how I made it to radio. So like I said, growing up, I knew I wanted to do radio. I knew I wanted to do media. When I was in second year at university at Chambogo, I applied to like every radio station in Uganda. No one called me. No one gave me a job. And they didn't even give me a chance, man. As in, just do a demo and we see. No one even told me to do a demo. No one even looked at my application letters. But anyway, I was not disappointed. I just kept pushing. Around the same time, I applied at UBC. They wanted news anchors. And I went all the way. By the way, it is that gentleman who got the job. What's his name? The guy who got an accident. He was working for NTV. Gabriel Epenu. Gabriel Epenu was the one that got the job, and he actually became my friend in the process, and he taught me very many things. I think that's even why I made it all the way, because with very many people, and they would keep calling us, you've gone through, and then they would keep picking until they got the final person. And for me, that inspired me. Like, listening to me and calling me back for an interview was like a yes to me, like, you can do this. So it actually pushed me to know that I can actually do this. Later on, I started working for a newspaper called the University Post. I would write and do sales and marketing. I did it for like about 6 months. And then a brother of mine had an event at home. So he had different friends coming through. One of them was one of the directors at Observer, one of the managers. So we were chatting, family stuff, and then he says, what do you do? What do you have interest in? I tell him, actually, I love media, but I'm studying this and this, and at the moment, I'm working with the University Post. And he said, okay, can you write for the Observer? I'm like, are you kidding? It's the Observer. Of course I do. I can write. So he told me, come to my office on Monday. So I went to his office. It was shortly after the Chadondo bombs went off. You remember those bombs that went off at Chadondo? And I had been at Chadondo. I am one of the... Recount for me what happened there. Just write for me a story of everything that happened at Chadondo. So if you actually go online, you can find that story. I wrote it and it appeared in the Observer. So when I wrote, she was impressed. She was like, "Wow, you can actually write. So write for us." I wrote like 5 stories, but you guys was not being facilitated, and I was at university. It was tough. I didn't show up after some time. I didn't even complain, "Why aren't you paying me?" I just disappeared. I stopped writing. But you can go and observe and see my stories there online. So from there on, I kept pushing media from all directions. Like if I don't join as a writer, I'll join on TV, I'll join on radio. But the interest was there. And then finally, when I finished university, before I graduated, I got a job at a newspaper called The Reza. It was started by New Vision and Daily Monitor. They just started the paper, and everyone that was working there was literally people from that side. And I got a job there, what I consider my very first job, and they were paying me good money. Yeah. So I worked there for like about 3 months. In those 3 months, a friend of mine, Kyle, was working at Urban Television. Was working at New Vision. So he tells me, New Vision wants to start a TV called Urban TV. Are you interested? So jokingly, I say, yeah, it would be cool. He's like, yeah, I should come around 3 p.m. introduce you, because they've already given me a show. I'm like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'll come around. Truthfully, I had no intention of showing up. I was just making chivozi. Yeah, I was just talking. And then at 3 p.m. he calls. He's expecting you, Naisi Kulaba. I was seated at my desk chilling because I had no intention of going there. I was just joking. So he told me, come through. So, Reza, it was near Observer. That's where the offices were. And then I head to New Vision. I get there, I find when the guy had waited and was good. Sit there, nindako, njakogera nawe nga maliriza wano. I sit, and he's talking to Kyle and Anna Mboze, and I think he's called Antalya Ozzy, the chick who does Uncut. They were preparing to do what is now Skizzy on Urban TV. And then he said, so they're discussing, by then it was supposed to be called Swag Hour, what segments to put in the show. I somehow decided to give my opinion. In a meeting, I was not invited. So when I gave my opinion, the guy's like, that's a good one. Come, join the meeting. So I was invited to the meeting like that. And he said, let's discuss this together. So I gave my opinions about the show, what should be added, what should not be added. And then he told me, you know what? You're part of the team. Start working with these guys. That's how I started working with Urban TV. So I started working with Skizzy. I would cover events in the field, and then I would come in and do gossip. So that's how I started doing TV. Later on, I joined production. I learned how to edit. Became a producer there for Skizzy. Yeah, good ride, good times. That's how I joined TV. So because of my experience on TV, at Galaxy FM for a job. So they told me to come through and do a demo. Shortly after they started, I think it was 2 weeks after they had opened Galaxy FM, they were still playing music. I think they had done presenters for like a week. Yeah. So I go do the demo, and they told me come start the next day in the morning, 6 a.m. I remember I was working with Kotilda, I was working with Kere Kere, with Little Joe. Yeah, those ones. Great show. So we did that show for some time. That's how I joined radio. To cut the whole story short, that's how I joined radio. I have been on the morning show since it started up to now. Very many people have changed. I worked with Kotilda, I worked with Kere Kere, I worked with the late King Kong, I worked with several people, Decanio, up to now. Right now I'm working with Mr. Mosh, Detacher, and you guys can tune in every day from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So Brian Reef Life asked, which part of Ntungamo are you from? And would like to listen to Galaxy FM in Western Uganda. Oh well, my boss will have to talk about you listening to Galaxy from Western Uganda. But you can also listen to us using our app. We have a Galaxy FM app. Just go to Play Store, App Store and download it. And you're able to listen to us. Which part of Ntungamo I come from? I'm raised, that question confuses me. I was raised in Chafura, Kangarame, Rushenyi constituency, Ntungamo district. And that's where my mom is, that's my home. But my dad was born and raised in Kajara, in Nyamunuka, Charuhuga, Kajara constituency in Ntungamo district. And that's where I vote from, my dad's village. So I'm always confused when people ask me where do you come from. I vote from this side, but then my home is in Kangarame. Then Ramla Yahya, you're saying, do you have a plan of coming back to any TV station? Because you are really good at it. I miss you. Thank you very much, Ramla. That's so kind of you. I really do not have plans of coming back to TV. I'm not saying I'll never do TV. I'm just saying I do not have plans of doing TV for very many reasons. So one of the reasons being what Sheila talked about. I don't want to get 50K. I don't want to get 50K. But anyway, so many reasons. I have many things I'm doing. I present on the morning show, like I've said, at Galaxy FM from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am also the programs director at Galaxy FM. So from there, from presenting, I go to that. I do poultry farming. So that's also taking my time. I have this YouTube channel, which, also needs some time. I would really prefer to get an idea and throw it on YouTube, because first of all, I can tell through YouTube how many people are watching, and I can also get my money, because YouTube pays, than going on TV. Unless something great comes up, I don't have plans. Hope I answered you right. Then someone is someone else, Kellyon, you're also asking which part of Ntungamo I come from, so I hope I answered you. And Godwin Amanya, you also said Ntungamo oruganka hiyo na beitu. I hope I responded to that. Someone says, how did you make it to be a successful lady? I actually don't consider myself successful. But God, patience, and consistency. No kulemerako. I don't know how to say that in English for an English teacher. Yeah, but really those three: God, consistency. Yeah, that's really what has. Because if I tell you the story of how much resistance I was earning, what I had to go through to get here, it's really been consistency and keeping on to that. I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to do media, and even when I got jobs that were paying well, I remember I got a job. I won't mention the school, and they'll pay me, I think 800,000 to teach. It was great money then, but I didn't do it, and my mother was very pissed at me. I chose to instead do media. When I started out at Urban Television back then, they were literally paying me 5,000 a day and no pay at the end of the month for like 2 months or 3. And being on TV and radio, especially TV, you have to dress, you have to look a certain way, you have to do makeup. It's really costly. Now imagine you're getting 5K a day every time you show up. So imagine leaving a job that's giving you 800,000 at the end of the month and you're doing that. But it's because I knew that if I insist and keep on doing this, I'll get much more money than even that 800,000 that the school was paying me. So you really, if you want something, go for it. If you have a dream to be something, I believe that if you do what you love, you reap from it at some point. And for me, this is really what has got me to where I am right now. Okay, so Remy K. Makula, you were also asking the same thing. When are you getting back on TV? I really have no plans. Work. I started following you from campus up to now, Tulimu lockdown. Enough love. Thank you very much, Omogezi UG. I think I've answered most of the questions, because the rest are just really people that are appreciating me and what I do. There's Stephen Omwega who says, I like your presentation. Musime Daniel, thank you very much, guys, for all this feedback. I really needed this, and I'm happy to have done this. I hope I've responded to any of your questions. Really, pretty much all of them. I have, right? Yeah, so just a recap of everything else. My name is Mariat Candace Nasasira. I'm a radio presenter. I'm a YouTuber. I'm the programs director at Galaxy FM. I was born 22nd October 1987 to Haji Sulaiman Rabutetule Chigongo and to Hajat Mariam Nagasha. My dad passed away when I was in senior 3, third term. And my mom is alive. She's well. She lives in Ntungamo. I have 3 siblings. I have many siblings. We are about 22 kids. We're about 22 kids. My mom and dad had 3, and I'm the firstborn of my mother, followed by a boy who lives, called Umar, and Shamira, who is at Shambogo University doing industrial fine arts. But I have very many great brothers and sisters that my dad gave to me. Yeah, I think I've responded to everything, have I? But yeah, thank you very much for subscribing. Stay tuned to this channel. I still have a lot of content lined up for you. Because of lockdown, it's really tricky. I'm trying my best, but I'm sure when all this is done, we're going to be having content probably once or twice a week, like consistently. But thank you very much for subscribing.